Life is good 13. 13 love to y'all. You are creation 13. I'm Ambassador Adam Starseed, and today I'm going to talk to you about, and simply this is entitled The Dimensional Gateways Between Heaven and Hell. And the reason why I entitled it that is we're going to dive deeper into the mind, the spirit, and God, or the source, or the gods. They're all interlinked and they're all part of the multi-dimensional gateways. I've talked about this in many videos, but I'm really kind of trying to narrow them down and help you guys see a different viewpoint of um, just how much the mind um, manipulates the structure. And realizing not only does it manipulate the structure, but it manipulates the matrix structure, and you can get so caught up in it, and even be um, brainwashed in it, distracted um, by certain elements, whether it be positive or negative. I've really been observing and viewing just how much these dimensional gateways um, can throw you off course, or get you to the course that you want to get at. Um, I've been really, that's really been my focus for the past month or so, since I made my last video. Because my goal is to help you learn about spirit, but you have to conquer or become more aware of the dimensional gateways that surround us, because there's so many features to life that you know humanity is not aware of. Each individual person is not aware of, unless if you really are dedicating and devoting into learning about spirit and learning how to um, continue to move forward, per se, or it perceived advance yourself. I don't know the words to describe it. It's just not sticking to old habits, or just saying, this is what I know and that's it. It's continuing to master those elements, and continue to move beyond, move forward, breaking through the dimensional barriers of the mind, the matrix mind world. um, so yeah, it's pretty much we're really um, got me curious about dimensional gateways, and um, looking deeper into the meaning of the hell story, or the origin of demons and Satan and so on and so forth, as well as God and angels. Really trying to figure out what the meaning of it is. Because we're told a story, that good is supposed to conquer evil, right? But I always felt that there was something was missing in that piece of that story. The intertwining of it all. It always just seemed like, same with superheroes. If you look at like, say, X-Men, for example, is a good one. They each have a mission. Magneto, he had his mission with his brotherhood. That he wants to protect the mutants, but he gets so influenced by his own ego, or listening to um, negative side of self, or the demon side of self, the night side of himself, that he loses touch with the main point that he was trying to get across. You know, he started to want to get rid of the humans altogether. You know, because of all the bad things that on how humanity judges, you know, mutants, or judging a person without understanding what it means. You know, because humanity as a whole seems to be very fearful of change, um, fearful of not understanding something different. You know, a cultural change, I guess. So I guess that's how you could call it. You know, and then you also have, you know, X-Men, who whose benefit is to aid humanity and to help them understand, you know, that just because you have an ability does not mean that you're automatically evil or that you want to take over. But it's a hard thing to tell humanity, because they see their own kind, you know, because humanity has to feel they need to label themselves. So, you know, you have mutants trying to help humans, but you got mutants against humans. So it's a countering um, battle, um, that continues on, because until you get both parties on the same page, it's going to be a constant battle. Um, and it's the same way with the heaven and hell thing. Um, I've always been fascinated with the Spawn character. I don't know if you're familiar with Spawn or not. This guy right here. But his story is a very unique, complex, but also very reminiscent of life in general. You know, because we live our lives out, you know, and sometimes you'll end up actually having a secret life, you know, a hidden life, that not everybody knows, because, you know, not everybody is going to tell somebody every little detail of your life. You know, his name is Al Simmons, and basically he was part of a military ops or whatever. He got married to. Show you my toys here, my collection. We got married to this woman here, but she didn't know everything that Al Simmons, aka Spawn, did in his life. But eventually, the main concept is the main story is Al Simmons got murdered, and his soul was sent to hell, basically because he destroyed. That was his job. You know, he was a military expert. So, you know, you killed, you didn't ask questions. You know, and if you're familiar with any military, you've been a part of the military. It's just whatever they tell you to do, you do it. So if they tell you to go kill somebody, that's it. So I mean, that's just part of the military uh, zombie mode um, that plays out. So anyway, so you know, you have to think or view what life would be like if you exited this body here, because you know that's one of the many secrets or mysteries of life, is what happens after you move on out of this body, right? A lot of people say, well, I'll just deal with it when I die. um, oh, I'm a good person, you know, everything's good. Um, but to me personally, you know, you're judged based on your actions, based on your 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 willness, your heart space, you know, um, deep down, who you truly are. And you're judged for every action that you do. Like I've said in previous videos, you know, we're here to create. We're here not to destroy. If you destroy creation, you destroy life. Um, any creator, God, the gods, whatever it may be, there's somebody above you. You know, you have to look at the earth like we're little children, little aspects of God, um, helping create whatever God is wanting. The gods are wanting. They want their creation to continue on. They don't want to see destruction take place. Just like I said in my previous video. They want to see a beautiful. You know, they want to see a beautiful world. But if they see their world getting destroyed, they're going to be like, hey, no, I don't want that. They don't want to see their creation destroyed. So if you are destroying creation and you leave your life, you're going to be judged for it. Every second, every moment, you're being judged for something. And basically, the main perception you should have is judging yourself. Judging yourself every second. Because when you judge yourself, it helps you be more cautious or be more aware of the actions that you're wanting to self-reflect to the world. Self-reflect to the ones that you're connecting with, the ones that surround you daily. It's that's your judgment call is every minute of every second, and that's something you really need to think about. And it can be hard at times, definitely. I think that's where it plays a big part of learning how the mind works and learning how not to be irrational, but also realizing that you can't what is that word you can't limit yourself either, because you still have to express yourself in some way, create in some way, as long as it's not destructive. You need to still be respectful, but your point of view still needs to be put out there, otherwise you end up just becoming a follower. It's complex. Life is complex. Um, you know, I've been, you know, observing this, New Age thing, this Team Light, Starseed thing for, I think yeah, almost 5 years. And, you know, you you have to express yourself, and you need to, well, not need, but you need to require yourself to lost my train of thought. And that's what I'm talking about, is with that mind control thing. When you're on the grasp of something, it seems to be that, you know, the mind or the matrix doesn't want you to progress into something. It seems like every time you get somewhere, at least from my personal perspective, you're easily persuaded or distracted on something. So now I kind of lost track of what I was talking about. But with the New Age thing, it was always about being simple. That's where I was getting at. Being simple with everything. Don't make things so complex. Don't allow the mind to overtake you, which is true. And I made a video about destroying the mind, because it gets so distorted, and that's my beginning process in learning how to break down the mind. But it's not the fact that you want to destroy the mind, but it's not the fact that you want to look at life in a simple way. It's mastering the complexity of it, like those cubes. with all the little colors, you have to shape it and mold it um, until all the colors are all perfect on each side. That's the complexity of the mind, and you have to master the mind. It's not just going into meditation mode and calming the mind or stilling the mind. It's learning the complexities of the mind and mastering the streamlines of the mind. Um, because if you dive deeper into the mind, um, I know I haven't even got to the dimensional part, but anyways, if you dive deeper into the mind, um, you got if you dive deeper into the mind, you got the left and the right brain, right? And if you do your research on left and the right brain, the left brain is more of a survival instinct, irrational way of thinking, while the right mind is um, it's cautious, it's aware. Um, you think before you act. That's the concept of that mind. So you got the survivor mode mind, which is the left mind, and you got the thinking part of the mind, which is the right mind. But with this dividing of things, so they're separated. So a lot of times some people will live by one or the other. They're not living by both. If you put your mind together, created a whole, create a balance in your mind. It's a whole mind. It's a whole mainframe that you can look into. Um, and it really opens your perception up um, on how to view and observe life in general, um, and learn the adventures of it. And you'll realize that there's many streamlines in the mind. I mean, if you look at the brain, it looks like coils, right? Many coils in the mind, kind of like that. So if you view the mind like that, this is where the dimensional gateways come into place within your physical mind. But you got to realize that everything within you reflects outside yourself. So with the complexity of the mind and learning about all the the streamlines in your mind, this is where you start to learn about the multidimensional gateways or multi-personalities. And this is where multi-personalities come into play. And any psychologist uses this tool to look at multiple disorders. But basically, it's multidimensional brain waves of different characters. And this has to also do with past lives. Because as a soul, as a spirit, you are collecting your life streams. So as you continue on, I mean, you could be billions of years old, so you can imagine just how many stories you're carrying in your streamline. So the streamlines, when activated in your current body and role, you're gonna end up unlocking, as you go through your path in your life, unlocking certain elements of your past lives, and that's going to open up your multidimensional mind mainframe that can create multiple, what is that word? Multiple personality disorder. But it's not really a disorder. It's misunderstood. Psychologists or whatever you want to call them is learning more and more on what this means. But it definitely takes a while to figure it all out. And it's something that they'll get to eventually. Humanity's going to figure it out eventually. So, with this being said, this is where um, Spawn character is going to come into play with this. So with Spawn, he gets sent to hell, and he goes and he sees tons of other Spawn-like characters. They're basically dressed like this. Basically, his um, body or suit is called a symbiont. And if you're familiar with what a symbiont is, it basically means it's an entity of its own, and it takes over your body. It doesn't take control over you, but it helps you manifest. And mainly, like even in Spider-Man, the Venom character, it really focuses on anger and rage. And that's really what that is. So he goes and talks to Malbolgia character, which is like a Satan character, but he's pretty much the eighth dimensional ruler in the dimension, and it's the eighth dimension. Okay, so there's 8 stages of hell told within that story. So he basically, the Mambolja character, looks at the heart or looks at the focus, and he was like, "Oh, you love your wife Wanda, right? Would you like to go see her again?" Basically, putting a wager on the table, a contract that you can't see, because you got to look at the factor of things is this world is a materialistic world, and materialism, action figures, materialism stuff, grips a hold of you. You can create a personal attachment to it. Just like having this character. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean having an attachment to it, but I can relate with this character. So it's part of my progress in learning more about or remembering more about myself, and basically, talking about this stuff. So, anyways, so being persuaded by your attachments to this world. So say you got a wife and kids, right? And you die, and this Bolja character comes to you, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to go see your wife and kids again?" And you lose touch with, "Oh, hey, I need to move on. That's just that was the past. That was it. I need to move forward." But a lot of souls get so attached here that they're like, "I'll come back. I'll be anything. I'll do anything to come back so I can be with my family," without realizing what they're doing. Because there's no such thing as time, and nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. Stuff is going to continue on, whether you're here or not. But past, present, future happen simultaneously as well, which is another subject altogether. So basically, this is where his attachment is. He's scared. He doesn't know what he's doing. And Moboja's like, "If you want to go see your wife again, sell your soul to me." So he's like, "All right, I'll do anything to go be with Wanda again." So Moboja's like, "All right, you said I could." Because the thing about perceived contracts and stuff is, or lower dimensional demons, you can't be forced to sign a contract. If you're signing for a house, a car, anything like that, it's your choice, your willpower to sign that contract. If you don't sign it, that's it. Okay. But once you sign it, you made that deal, and that's it. So he made that deal, and with that Spawn reading the fine print, he caught himself in a web. Because basically, Mamboja is creating an army to take over Earth. I'm going to get more into that. I'm debating if I want to make this into 2 parts. I'll keep going. So anyway, he goes back to Earth and he's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm back. But he feels absolutely horrible. He doesn't remember anything. Absolutely, he doesn't remember nothing. So he doesn't remember why he's there. He has images of hell. And the simian that's over his body takes over. The left side of the brain takes over, instinct. And because he was in the military, if he sees anybody fighting, he feels he needs to go right down there and go take care of it. So that's what he does for a little while. And then you get introduced to this character here, this clown character, and he is the tormentor of the mind. He is the character that keeps reminding him, hey, remember why you're here for Wanda. Remember you work for Malbolgia. There's nothing you can do about it. He downs Spawn, but also makes sure that he gets into that anger and that rage, because that's what they feed upon. Is anger and rage. Because if you're peace in a calm state, you begin to think for yourself and begin to be able to control your reality better. So there's always that tormentor, and in life, you're tormented. You torment yourself, but basically, if you look through at like history and stuff, they always show like the gray aliens, the gray beings. I forget what they're called. They're like the what are they called? They're written on they show pictures of them on the walls. But basically, they're the gray aliens. And they actually use the gray aliens in that Spawn thing, which was just, since I've been reading the comic, because it's been a long time, reading Spawn will, if you're familiar with multidimensional aspects of self and the layers, and as well as the ETs and all that stuff, it's just like things just start clicking. You're just like, wait a minute, this is making sense. This is a comic book, but this is making sense. Therefore, whether a writer or comic book artist is aware of what they're doing or not, I don't know. But this stuff clicked with me a lot, and it really helped me dig deeper into, learning how this multidimensional mind works. So anyway, so you got these gray aliens, these tormentors, and basically these guys are gateway keepers. He has like I said, there's 8 dimensions that they talk about in there. Mount Bulger owns the 8th gate, but he has, I think it's 7 brothers, and they each are guarding the gateways. Okay, and one of them, they showed the gateway. This person was really bad, really really horrible. But I don't even talk about it. But anyways, it's basically was about attachments, and there was 8 souls. They got incarnated into a different life. They're like, okay, where are we? without realizing that they already moved on from this earth and they were back into the spirit realm or into deeper into the mind. That's really what it looked like to me. They were deeper into the mind. Um, and to pass through to get out of the gateway, you needed to make sure you weren't tempted um, by the materialistic realms. I think I'm going to go ahead and do part 2 about this. So then you guys will watch the second part, hopefully. So stay tuned for part 2. 13 love you all.